we played on Jules Holland in 2011, Spectre. Probably too early, but it's like, you know, when they come knocking, you're not going to turn it down. We played probably 5 gigs at the time, but had managed, someone had seen it, us support someone, and we'd managed to get on, which makes it sound, you know, I don't want to sound pithy about it, because, you know, when we found out we were going on, we literally were jumping up and down, screaming. It was a real lifetime aim to get on. But we end up being on the series finale, and it was all quite established acts, and we are probably definitely, you know, we'd been together a year or two, didn't rehearse that much, weren't the tightest band in the world, and kind of weren't exactly going to sound like, you know, Rage Against the Machine or whatever. And I think who was playing? It was a mad lineup. Bjork, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Michael Kiwanuka, and Noel Gallagher. And we played, you do the live bit on the Tuesday, and then you play the 2 other songs that get, or 1 other song that gets played on the Friday. And afterwards we were downstairs in the dressing rooms that were all kind of next to each other, getting photos with Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and going up to to Bjork and chatting to her. She had like a 30-piece all-female Icelandic choir with her, getting photos with them, and just like everyone being super nice and being like, wow, this is, being a musician's great. And then I remember seeing Noel Gallagher in the corridor, and I started to walk up to him as if to go like, hey mate, like, great gig, let's get a like chat or whatever, or to get a photo. And he just shook his head at me like, no, don't come any nearer. Wow. And I just pretended like I was walking past. He was probably shaking his head like, that was terrible. But, you know, you win some, you lose some.
I mean, I don't really have a particularly one about. I'm particularly on Oasis one, although I can just a funny moment with Oasis was when we were playing, like, I don't know if it was Fuji Rock or Summer Sonic, or one of the big festivals in Japan, and I remember them being completely baffled by Rankin Roger, who was like, we on Boys Will Be Boys, Rankin Roger's son, who's Rankin Jr., who's like one of my best friends. And there's actually a song that I did because Rankin Roger died recently, like really suddenly of cancer, and he was like a friend. I really liked him. Actually, we were going to release a song as the Ordinary Boys with Rankin Jr., and there's actually a video of it on my Instagram from before Corona, but then we kind of like, Corona just sort of fucked it all up. But I can remember the Oasis lads just being so confused by us all being backstage and Rankin Roger rollerblading around the backstage. He was so he had all these rollerblades and full pads as well. And then he would wear these weird, like, black, like, leather outfits with loads of zips on. And then, you know, like this mad, he looked like a kind of like a black wizard from the Matrix or something. He had these, like, his dreads kind of like trailing behind him as he's kind of zoomed past on his rollerblades. So I do remember that being like a very funny Liam and Noel moment then. But they were always really nice to us. They really liked Ordinary Boys. They said some lovely things about us.
The last question I put in was whether you got, I said funny Liam Gallagher story, but I appreciate not everyone has one.
No, you know what, man? We played with them in Hampden in Glasgow, and it was an absolutely amazing gig. And he was lovely. We didn't see a great deal of him, but he made a great effort to come and welcome us. And it was Super Furry Animals who were also on the bill.
Yeah.
And when we hung out for a little while, he was really, like, he was a proper sweetheart of a bloke, actually. And Noel, we sort of ran into quite a few times over the years because we did a tour with the Zootons and he was really into the Zootons. So he came to quite a few of those dates. But then because Gem, who was in the band at the time, was from the Northeast, there was a good bit of crack on about that. He just thought we were mad, though. I don't think he could ever really get his head around what it was that we were doing. Like he just used to always call us like mental. But no, I've got to say, like lovely fellas, and nothing but good experiences of hanging out with them. I mean, we've got our own version of the Gallagher brothers in the future heads, like Barry and Dave fight as badly as any other brothers I've ever known. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you support them at one point, or am I imagining that?
Oh, no, we did play with them, I think 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3, because they're on that Millennium Stadium gig in Cardiff with Foo Fighters. That was Oasis and Foo Fighters, and then once at Hammersmith Apollo, which was like a obviously that's a small show for them, so that was like a pre-album celebration thing or something, I don't know. And then the big one was oh my goodness me, what is Manchester City's football ground?
City of Manchester.
Oh my goodness.
No, yeah, it used to be called City of Manchester when they played it, I think.
Yeah. We played there with them. That was obviously a big thing. And we played that the week before Young Fraternity came out, or the day before Young Fraternity came out, or something like that. But yeah.
Well, I think you mentioned them briefly, but were you kind of fans of them growing up?
Yeah, huge. Billy's one of the first songs he learned to play was Supersonic. That's always one of his stories.
Right.
Yeah, Supersonic was like the first song he learned to play. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And we're big fans of. I think everyone is shaped by Britpop, aren't they? Of like my age, because it was a bit. I was a bit young for it, but it was still like, it was a massive part of pop culture, wasn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was watching that gig on YouTube quite recently, actually, because I think the first song Oasis play, like the barrier cracks at the front.
Oh, right! Wow.
To start the gig. I don't know if that was the one you played. It must have been.
It might. They did do quite a few gigs there at that time. So maybe it was. It may have been the one we played, or maybe not. But yeah, that's pretty mad, isn't it? That must have been terrifying.
So yeah, I don't know if you got a funny story about them, or just a kind of funny story about any time, really.
So the only we did meet both Noel and Liam. I met Noel, I was in the catering, and he was stood behind me. I think I was just like messing around near the coffee machine or something, and I was like, fuck this. Oh, God, what do I do? I think I just was been a bit weird because I've just been stood there for ages. And then he said hello to me. I was like, oh, hi. Yeah, thanks so much for this. But I just like made a total tit of myself. So that's we didn't party with them or anything. Like, I don't have any like wild stories about them. But they were nice, that they were nice. And that's, of people you get to meet, like it's to say that you've stood next to like Noel Gallagher or Liam Gallagher is pretty cool. Yeah.
Because I think Noel's the same, like we're saying about Dave Grohl picking support bands, get the idea that they kind of do the same thing as well.
We heard that they liked us, and they'd said, one of them had said something, or maybe both of them had said something about us in NME. They said that when they were asking him about new bands they liked, and they'd mentioned us. And that was like the biggest thing that ever happened to us. It was amazing. I think, I don't know, my mum's probably got that NME article still or something. Like, it's just, that was cool.
Yeah, so we were in Norway playing like this weird run of 5 shows in the same venue. And halfway through it, we got a phone call saying, Oasis want you to like open their first 3 shows in Europe or something. So we had to get like a night train. We had to cancel the last 3 gigs in Norway. And everyone was so cool, like, Oasis, of course, you go. Like, it's, like, that's exciting. It was really exciting. And then we got on a night train. And then we sort of woke up in Hamburg and we had to play the show. But Oasis were really friendly and nice, Like Liam stood side of the stage every night and was like cheering us on. It was in the sound check and stuff. We played Modern Art. And he told our guitar tech, fucking have it, that's their best one. It's like Liam Gallagher's favourite song is by us, Modern Art, which is pretty good. And then afterwards, we were kind of shy of speaking to them, I guess, because it's Oasis. They're more than a band, aren't they? It's like they're like a red phone box or a policeman's helmet. I mean, they're like a thing, like an institution as opposed to a band now, I guess. And so I was scared to speak to them. And I said, I used to stand very still on stage during our song, Moving to LA. I'd like point towards Los Angeles and not move and stand very still. And he stands very still in one of their songs. So I said to him, like, to break the ice, hey, Liam, I stand still, you stand still. We're both really good at standing still. He's like, yeah, I'm the fucking master of standing still. And then he didn't move. like nearly 3 minutes. He just stood completely still. I had no idea what to do. It was amazing. And then later, after that, I told him, I told the story so many times, but like I told Liam, like, it's weird, you know, like us supporting you is a bit like half man, half biscuit supporting you too. You know, it feels a bit strange being here. And Liam was like, our kid. He really said, our kid, by the way, I'm not making it up. to Noel. He likes half man, half biscuit. And apparently, like, they used to share a room together at some point, Liam and Noel. And Noel would listen to Half Man, Half Biscuit. And then they both started singing the Trumpton Riots by Half Man, Half Biscuit. And it's like, I thought I was having like some sort of nervous breakdown. This is like, Oasis is singing me the Trumpton Riots by Half Man, Half Biscuit. This is very strange. So yeah, they were super nice, actually, Oasis. And it's weird, I didn't used to, you know, growing up in Bournemouth and stuff, I was very into Pulp and Blur and that end of it. And anything laddie I didn't really like. Those guys used to beat us up for the weekend, you know. Like, I go out in a suit and makeup and get punched by Oasis fans. So for a long time, I didn't like any of that stuff. And my friend Keith, a couple of pops, convinced me that Oasis were really good. So by the time we played with Oasis, it was like, oh, this is great. I mean, that night we played with Oasis. It was massive. It was like, what, 7,500 people or something? We got really drunk and we went out the front afterwards and sang along to Rock and Roll Star. Like, at the top of our voices. Felt really good. That was a very good day. Yeah, it was great. We couldn't really believe it, you know.
Yeah. I saw you said something like Liam gets changed 4 or 5 times a day, which I thought was quite.
It was loads. He was like, yeah, we're like, oh, that'll be his stage outfit now. And it wasn't. It was like in a different one, always wearing different sunglasses. He looked super cool every time. What a pop star. And they had catering as well. Like really nice, dark, and like delicious food everywhere. Like, here you go, Liam. And he just always has like a bacon and egg sandwich. They made it like just for him, like off the menu. Here you go, Liam. Like, he wasn't having any dessert. That's kind of cool. Yeah. What a pop star.